Ghosting. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Business with Benefits. It's the guy with the bow tie checking in with you live. To my right, you will see Alex Sheridan. How you doing, Alex?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. That's one of my favorite songs. So I thought we got some hip hop vibes between you and I. Put some singing, some reggae, and all that mixed together. But thanks for joining us. First off, I want to say thank you to #Team Live, #Team Replay. However you watch the content, please let us know in the comments below. We appreciate either way, and hit those reactions. Let us know you're hearing us all right. Alex and I met through comments on LinkedIn, so I see him making content all the time, and the thing that stood out to me most was you rap as well. You and I were talking about there's not many people that rap on LinkedIn. I could probably count them on 1.5 hands if you can do that. But for the people that don't know who you are and what you do, let them know your business and your specialty.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be here too. I'm excited to jam out with you. So my name is Alex B Sheridan. I'm a founder of Impacts. We transform founders and executives into revenue generating content creators through video on LinkedIn.
Nice and simple. You only said that 3,000 times probably.
Sweet, baby. Yep.
So video's been talked about at length, but kind of what got you into video content creation on LinkedIn?
So for me, it was the best way for me to express myself. I think people got to look at their strengths, weaknesses, what they're good at and what they're not. And for me, I naturally gravitated towards it because I thought it was a great way for me to kind of showcase what I could provide in terms of value to my audience. But I also noticed that, and really, if you look at the past few years, video has just been growing continuously over the last few years. I mean, it's only going to continue to grow, continue to get more popular. And then boom, you drop COVID on the whole situation. And now obviously what happened to all the live gates? They all came virtual. What happened to all the face-to-face meetings? They all went to Zoom calls. They all went to lives. And so I realized that just the importance of being able to capture your audience, get their attention, get them to take action, get them to engage with the power of video was going to be huge. And not only on the content side, but also on the DM side. Also when you're messaging people, because everyone gets those text posts every single day, we get flooded with them. When you separate yourself and you send a video DM, it's just next level. So I recognized the power of video real quickly. And then COVID hit and it was just like, it made more sense to me after that than it ever had before.
Yeah, put gasoline on the fire, definitely with COVID. Right. And then checking in with the comments real quick, we had Doug said, let's do this. And Doug, layman's term, I want to give Doug a good shout out. Doug sent you and I both a personalized video message leading up to this. So give Doug some reactions for that, because he went the extra step and said, I'm going to send the guys talking about live video DMs a video message before they go on. So that's the best way to market with people. Then we also had Randy Cooper, Team Live. Thanks, Randy, for jumping in.
What's up, brother?
And then Misha said, hey, King, I'm live today. Must be snowing. She's normally Team Replay. So thanks, Misha, for being Team Live.
Love it.
So let's break down. You and I were talking about video content. So we all know video content's important, but why do you think the video message is as important, if not more important?
Yeah, I mean, video message is like imagine this. So if you got to get to know somebody, or you're gonna maybe do some business with somebody or build a relationship with somebody, and you had the option of 3 things. One was you got to meet them in person, or like video like this, you got to see their face and how they interact, their personality. 2, you got to just pick up the phone and call them, right? So just audio. Or 3, you guys had to email back and forth. I don't think anyone would be confused as to which option would be the best, both from a relationship standpoint, from a getting to know someone standpoint, from a business standpoint. Everyone's going to choose the face-to-face or the video in this case. And so when you think about content, it's no different. People get to know you. People get to understand who you are. They understand your quirks and your personality. And it's just a different way to expose yourself to your audience, that you want to get to know, and you want to get to know them. And it's just so much of a different experience than it would be just through text or just through audio.
Yeah. So let's talk about the people that are like, I don't have an audience. So if I make video content, it's not going to get seen. Let's take that angle. Like, you have 500 connections on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You don't think you have an audience. You don't think you have a platform. So why could they spend time in the messages doing videos versus content? I mean, both are important, but what's the benefit to them focusing on the video message side if they don't have the following yet?
Yeah. And by the way, like, if you don't have the following, you have to start, right? Like,
right.
It was like, my first few videos sucked. And I showed a couple of them. I'm like, guys, everyone starts from ground zero. Like
yep.
saying that you don't have a following, why should I do videos? Well, wouldn't have never had a following had I not started doing videos. So
yep.
you got to put yourself out there. But yes, the content portion of it obviously is going to take a little bit longer. You're not going to post 2 videos and go viral overnight and everyone. I wish it was like that, but it's not the case.
Right.
So that's when you have to definitely in the beginning stages for sure, although I still use them almost daily, rely on the video DMs. Because what do we all get every single day? We get a million text posts. Once in a while, we get an audio post, but we don't get many video DMs like Doug just sent us earlier. So instantly, and you think about this from a branding standpoint, right? When the first time you interact with somebody or the first time you really communicate with them one-on-one, if you send a video DM, first of all, you separate yourself from 99% of other people. So you're different. What do? You also show that you're innovative. You also show that you're creative. You also show that you're willing to get outside the box, outside of your comfort zone, because not everyone is willing to do that. So you separate yourself from a brand standpoint, but also going back to the whole let's just think about us being human beings. Do we want to see each other and interact with each other? Yes. We're just little creatures. Like it makes sense. You're just, if you guys aren't doing video DMs, whoever's watching this right now, like try them out and watch the conversion rate just skyrocket compared to a typical text post. I guarantee it'll blow your mind. But most people don't even know you can do a video DM.
Yes.
So when they see the video come through, they're like, what? Like, I didn't even, that's amazing. I could probably just get up there and ramble and they'd be like, I don't care what you just said. Like that was cool. You just said a video DM. Like, so one, people think it's super cool and it's different. It's unique. You allow people to get to see a different side of you. Be yourself, flash a smile, have some fun with it, and then create some value for that person. And you'll be blown away by the responses you get.
Yeah, I think Ronell Richards was probably one of the first ones to send me a video message. I think he used Boom Boom or something, but he sent me a video message at first. So I'm commonly doing audio messages, and we're gonna get into that in a second. I would send the audio like, "Thanks for connecting with me," and do that. And they're like, "How do you make an audio message? You can do that in LinkedIn." That was 80% of the replies is like, "How do you play this? What is this?"
But think about what that does to your brand and your perception as a person, as a company. You now automatically position yourself as being innovative. Because you've already added value from teaching them something, right? So instantly you've added value without even saying anything about what you do or how you can help in other ways.
Yeah, the thing I like about it too is the video and audio messages. You can probably hack a video message, but you can't hack an audio message. Like it has to be recorded in the app.
Yes.
And it's one of those things you can't kind of fake because there's so many bots on LinkedIn of automatic systems that the one thing for me is like you can't fake an audio message. Like you have to push the button in the app and do it. And that brings an interesting question from Mr. Ryan. He said, hey Ryan, thanks for jumping in. He actually asked, what's better if you had to pick the two? And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but what's better between an audio message and a video message? And is there a reason you would use one over the other in your prospecting funnel? Yeah.
So, I mean, again, think of it like this. If you had to, Ryan, I don't know, I'm not sure what he does. I know Ryan though. I've seen his face. I think we were
a show. Yep.
We were talking earlier, actually. Think about this. If you had one opportunity to go close a deal or go build a relationship with somebody, and you had the option of doing the video Zoom or just a phone call, what would you pick? You'd pick the Zoom, like no question about it, right? So yes, audio audio works really well. It works a lot better than text messages, no doubt. But video is one step better because you actually get to see the person and it gives you a different feel for that person. So the conversion rates are typically over 50% for video. Audio is a little bit less, and then text is like, it's real tough to get through. Like, to be honest, it's unless you're like really, really good or you've got some super personalized, but people just get so many that they're just, if I see more than a paragraph or two on a text DM, I'm just like moving on. I don't even read it. Where a video is instantly going to capture me, but an audio would capture me too. But there's no replacement to seeing somebody face, just like if you're going on a date. It's like, are you going to go on a date and just do telephone, or you want to go see somebody face to face? It's just not even close.
Yeah, that's true. And then, we had Misha said, I hate my 3-tier neck on video. Where is my Botox expert? So this is where audio comes. If you don't like the way you look, you can do audio if you're worried about yourself.
No. You know what? Hey, you know what? Every single person, they don't think they are, but they are beautiful. You know, every single person has value that they can bring to the table. Every person should look in the mirror and see what's great about them and not what is not great about them. And that's something that I'm super passionate about, because I think we all crush each other every single day, ourselves in the mirror. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to look at what's beautiful, what I like about myself, and I'm going to bring that.
I think the thing important about that too, you have to see people in person with your business anyway. I mean, pre-COVID, you had to go in person. You can be, I don't like the way I look. You had to go meet people to close deals.
you have to go. At some point, it's going to get face-to-face, or at some point, it's going to get Zoom. Either way, why not introduce yourself a little bit earlier to the game so they can see who you are and what you're about?
Yep. And then Steven, he had a good comment, great question about lack of followers. So yeah, still make the content even if you don't have it. So Misha said, okay, here's a technical question. How do you do this on LinkedIn? So how are you making video content on LinkedIn? What's some easy tactical ways to do it besides, I know it's probably just the camera button, but there might be some more tips to it you have.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways of actually recording the videos. I mean, one, you could just take your phone and you could, you can do the vertical shot. You can do the horizontal, which allows you to plug it into an editor like Filmora 9 or Adobe, which is what I use, Filmora 9. And if you take a vertical, or if you take the horizontal shot, it plugs in a 16:9 ratio. I'm gonna get super nerdy. No, I won't. I'll go down that rabbit hole. But then what you do is you plug it in the video editing software like a Filmora 9 or an Adobe. You add a color scheme up top, bottom. You do your titles, subtitles, and that's really it. And that's what I teach people how to do. It's part of my program. Or you could literally just pull out your phone and hold a selfie and capture a video that way. Maybe it's you walking down the street or walking on the beach or something like that. Or you could do that video and then use a app like InShot, for example, that allows you to basically edit a video and add your titles all from the palm of your hands, all from your actual cell phone. So there's a ton of different ways to do it. It depends on what your strategy is and what you want it to look like, what your brand's going to be, who your target audience is. All those things obviously factor into what you're going to make your video content on and how it's going to look. But don't overthink it. Like,
yeah.
I would say like this is like half the battle is getting started. It's just like taking the first step. And then the second half of that battle is staying consistent with it and getting better over time.
So I heard you hit on the hardest part is getting started. So most of your clients that come to you, they don't have any video content, or they tried and kind of fell flat?
So it's a mix. And I would say, I wouldn't necessarily say getting started is always the hardest. I would say people fall in two buckets. One, they're like, I got started, no worries. But now I'm like 3 or 4 or 10 videos in and I'm not really getting results. They come to me and that's where I help them get the results. Or it's, hey, I want to make video content. I realize how important it is. I know it's the present and the future and I need to get on it, especially with COVID and stuff. But I don't really know where to start. I don't really know I don't feel comfortable on camera. I don't know what I would talk about. And that's the second half of people that would come to me.
Okay. And then Duck had a good comment. He said, great topic. Love leverage both audio, text, and video and personal messages. Take the omni channel. So I'm sure in your funnel, you're not just doing only video. You're probably mixing it up with different content. But yeah, video probably stands out in the inbox a lot more.
For sure. For sure.
And then Steven said, focus on the positive. I love it. And Ryan, this is good stuff. Such a simple thing that has such meaningful impact. Definitely. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so Misha has a question for you. 16:9, and do you like Power Director?
I'm not sure what Power Director is.
I've seen that app. Is that you're an iPhone guy, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm an iPhone guy, but I don't do any. I do all my editing in Filmora 9. So with the apps, I know a couple of them, and I've played around with them a while back. But I'm not an expert when it comes to the apps because what I do requires more than an app.
Yeah, you're doing more technical, and that's where I think in the video messaging, this is the difference. Content takes a lot more polish to it. When you're making content, the bars you mentioned, the subtitles, the lighting, the effects, you might have music in the background. Usually probably in a video message, you're not getting that deep into the editing, are you?
Dude, I'll be in my Dago tee and send people a video message and be like, yo, it's Alex, what up? Because it's just a message. Like, what are you going to spend all this time? I mean, my iPhone's cracked right now, so it looks like there's rays of lights coming down. It looks like it's dropping down from heaven or something. So like it's all jacked up, but either way, as long as it's good enough where people can see you and hear you, you're good to go for a video message. The content video, you just got to make sure that whatever you decide that your brand is and how you're going to represent yourself and how you're going to impact your target audience, that you show up consistently. So if you do, one super edited video and then you're bouncing around and doing a completely unedited video and they're like, wait, I thought you were the person that does this, not that, you can confuse people. So you just got to make sure however you show up, you're consistent with it. It doesn't mean you don't change and show people different looks and get creative, because I'm all about that. But it means that your audience gets trained on who you are and what you provide. And so you got to stay somewhat consistent. It would be like if you're, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite TV show or a comedy show, or what's something that you watch?
Favorite one, I like Hot Ones on YouTube. That's the fun one.
Hot Ones? What is that, a comedy show?
They eat hot wings and they different different degrees of hot wings super hot as they go up.
So if one day they just completely switched it up, they didn't eat wings and they didn't talk about any of the stuff they normally talk about, they just read you an audiobook or something, you'd be like, what the hell is this, right?
So what happened?
Like you like that show because you've come to expect that there's a little bit of structure, but then there's also enough innovation and creativity and difference that it keeps you interested and wanted to come back to see it again. That's the same thing in your content. That's what's key.
I think that's where people kind of get like held up in content because they might see somebody's chapter 10, like you might see a Shea Robottom and they're like, oh, I can't do what she does, but she's been doing this for years. So obviously she has a track record in the process of operating procedures, but everybody else, she said, I started out making selfie videos.
Yeah.
Like, that's her story. I started out making 3 selfie videos a week. That's what I started with.
Yeah.
So I think people are just going to get over that. And then with the video messages in particular, we see a lot of spam, like you mentioned, going on in LinkedIn. I mean, I get spam all the time. And if I see a paragraph, I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this. If I see a link, an attachment.
Because it's a pitch, dude. It's a pitch out of the and that doesn't work, man. It doesn't work.
So if you're thinking about pitching somebody, send the video message instead. And just say hi. I mean, I think people think it has to be this sophisticated thing. And one thing I'd say, what do you think about the, not copy and paste, but the usable, like the over and over again message versus personalized? Do you think every video message should be personal or people should have like a canned, this is my intro video?
Yeah, to me, I think personalization is the way to go. I think if you're not going to do personalization, you got to do more volume. And it's not to say it couldn't work. I'm sure it could, but you're going to have to do more. I always think about, yes, I want to reach out to these people and engage with these people, but it's a reflection of your brand. So you have people that I've messaged that maybe we've never done business or worked together yet, but they still remember the fact that I sent them a video DM and personalized it and cared enough to look into their profile a little bit about who they are. But it's so much more impactful. So I always look at like, what's the best way to get the most out of your time or the best bang for your buck? And it's personalizing the video DM. And then it's simply offering up something of value to them for no cost, no strings attached. It's just offering to help them in some way, however you help people, whether it's a free assessment, a free training. Just, for me, I may hit up someone and say, whether they liked one of my posts or what it is, I may thank them for that. And then I may just say, hey, I was checking out, you made a couple of videos recently, love the topics on this, and this. Hey, by the way, if you're curious, I nerd out on this stuff because this is what I do every day. But I could show you a couple things that would help you get more engagement on the videos that you're already making. A couple small tweaks, nothing crazy. If you want to know, let me know and we'll chat.
Yeah, see, I like that approach because you're teaching them something.
Dude, I'm just leading with value, man. I'm just leading with value and like, hey, and there's no string. I'm not going to hard close you when we get on there. Like, if it makes sense for you to work with me and you want to take it to that level, then fantastic. If you don't, that's okay too. So that's how you got to approach it. Is not the pitchy, but it's also not just the like, hey, what's up? Glad to be connected. Because that's not going to go anywhere, right? They're not going to get back to you and be like, oh, by the way, you got to have something to offer up or something that's going to intrigue them to want to keep talking to you.
Yeah, I think that's important that you mentioned is giving them something without strings attached. Because some people will say, I'll give you a free coaching call. I'll give you a free discovery call. Like, no, that's not a sale.
No. Yeah. You have to give. Well, the trick is like specifically, give them something specific. Yeah.
And then Steven's been paying attention to us. He said we got 2 rappers on here, and somebody got to spit some bars before the end. So,
hey, Steven, we were talking about doing and me and O were having this conversation a couple weeks ago. We're putting something together, thinking about doing a LinkedIn theme song. Hit us up in the comments if you guys have a LinkedIn theme song between all of us. Probably, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of us, right? Which is probably what we would do.
Yeah, that's about all I see on there. So a few people getting together and doing a We Are the World hip hop version for LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then Doug put out there, love the personalization of video, making it about your audience. And Doug does a good job with this, and he kind of mixes the editing with the personalization. So I love Doug's spin on it because he has his virtual assistant help him, but it's still his branding. He doesn't come on there and it's just the assistant. It's like him and the assistant. So would you say with video DMs, is it more of a B2B thing, B2C, or both?
I don't see why it couldn't be anything, to be honest. B2C, B2B, like I don't think it matters. I'm only really targeting B2B. For me, it's my business to somebody else's business, whether it's a founder, executive, CEO. But I don't see why it couldn't work for any business. I think probably if you're B2C, it's probably going to be, I don't know if it makes the most sense time-wise. You probably want to focus more on content and funneling and advertising and that kind of stuff because you're trying to reach a bunch of consumers. Right. It's going to be probably hard to scale that versus someone like, you know, me or someone that targets themselves to business owners or companies, because there's less of them, but you can do, you know, so you don't need to do as many.
So here's a technical question for you then that people always ask. They're going to do video messages, and there's always the time. How long? There's always this, only make your content this many minutes long. So when you're doing a video DM, what's the sweet spot for time in the video? Mine
are usually like 40 seconds. So I always tell people under a minute. You don't need to get on there and just ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble. 20 seconds, maybe a little bit too short, depending on how you're structuring it. At the same time, if I'm just sometimes I'm just thanking somebody for, you know, they comment on one of my videos. Maybe they're not my target audience, and I'm like, this person probably not a customer for me, but I just may just say, hey, thanks so much. I appreciate you showing some support and love. And so some of them are short, 10, 15, 20 seconds. If I'm going to send it to somebody I think I could do some business with, then typically like 40 seconds. Yeah.
But I think that the good thing you're doing, you're planting the seed either way, because even if they're not your target audience, they say, that guy sent me a video message. Hey, maybe you should talk to so-and-so. Maybe you should talk to so-and-so. It's kind of like the handwritten thank you note that was a thing.
It's your brand. And I also just appreciate the hell out of people. I also just appreciate people for showing love. I mean, I never try to think that I'm anybody special. I'm just someone that put out consistent content and try to bring as much value and creativity as I can. And I just appreciate the fact that people like and follow and comment. And I feel bad that I can't always get to everyone else's stuff, you know, but I try as much as I can.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of content out there. And my queen put a comment, great advice. The more you try, the more confident you become. So thank you, queen, for that.
Totally.
Ryan put out there, I would love to listen to the LinkedIn theme song. So you guys heard it first. It's going to be happening at some point in time.
Let's go.
But that's something you and I were talking about with music and everything, because you have a creative side automatically. So when you got into LinkedIn, obviously it's not the place you think of creativity when you first think of the business platform.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking offline about, like, when I first started rapping on LinkedIn, people in my field are like, oh my God, you're going to rap on LinkedIn? That you can't do that. You're going to do that? That's not going to look good. And I'm not saying anything controversial. I'm not cursing. I'm not degrading women. It's just a style of music. So as you came into your own and doing this, being the creative and not going into business, what's that transition been like for you on LinkedIn specifically, as far as this is your only platform? What's that transition been like for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, creatively, you mean? Just
to kind of go to create, like, all creative, and now you're like in business out of it too.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, you know, it was more of like, I went through a phase where I was like, in the beginning, like, I think everyone goes through this as a content creator. You're trying to figure out who you are as a content creator and what you want to share, what don't you want to share, what's your style going to be like, you know. And I think as I evolved, I got more comfortable with putting myself out there in terms of the different things. My third or fourth video, I would never have thought to do a rap battle between a founder and employee or sales versus marketing, which I've done. That kind of came with time and some confidence and me feeling like I could express myself the way I want to express myself. And so that kind of happened over time. Then every person that's creating content gets to a place where they're like, hey, it can be cool and fun to put out content and build a following and get engagement. But at some point, if you're putting in all this work, it's got to translate to some type of ROI, some type of result that you want to get. And the more results that you get, the more impact that you can make on people, the more people you can help serve. And so, yeah, you've got to find it. If you're just putting out content consistently over and over and over again, and you're not really finding that you're getting results, there's just something missing there, right? There's something missing between, maybe it's you're not asking enough, maybe it's the way your profile set up, maybe it's your content and maybe it's not geared enough towards your target audience. Like maybe it's call to actions. There's something that's missing that is not quite turning into revenue for your business. So you definitely go through that period where you have to look yourself in the mirror and figure out what tweaks you need to make, what changes. And that's something that I help people do.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think people get hung on the vanity metrics and they're like, I want to see a bunch of views and likes and comments. But when you get to that point where you're getting, you're getting moving, you're making content and you're not seeing any leads come in, and a lead for me, somebody actually asking like, hey, I want to hear what you're doing.
Yes.
That was something I had to go through where I'm just making content. I'm like, wait, none of this is actually doing anything. It's just, it looks cool. It looks great. Like, you're taking over LinkedIn. Like, well, no, it's just, I get views. I want to actually see somebody message me like, hey, I need a life insurance quote. Yes. Hey, my business needs benefits. Like, and I found for myself, I wasn't asking. I was just putting out stuff, and there was no, like, my brand wasn't there. Like, the Way of Life group wasn't on the video. So they're like, you do insurance? Yeah, that's what I do, but I wasn't asking. So when you were talking about websites earlier before that, and that's kind of the reason where I'm leading into that, I didn't really want to get a website just because I'm thinking the attention I get isn't high enough for me to get a website because it's insurance. It's already kind of saturated. So this is controversial because we're on LinkedIn, but what do you think about having a website with LinkedIn or just having a LinkedIn profile only?
Yeah, do not get a website. No, I'm just kidding. No, get out the pitchforks because here they come for me, man. Here they come. No, I respect the hell out of website people. I love you guys. And there's definitely a place for a website in terms of if you've got the back channel and you've got the funnels and you really know what you're doing with your website. Obviously, it can generate business for you. But I have generated all my business through. I do have a website, but zero of it has come through my website. It's been 100% through LinkedIn. So if you've got a good system with LinkedIn, this is where it's so important to have your profile optimized, your banner, your headline, your about me. Does it speak to your target audience? You've got to have all this optimized. Your content, is it good, and is it hitting your target audience where you need to hit them, where they're taking action to you? Yep. And if that's all taken care of, then it basically funnels into the it comes from like the likes, the comments, the engagement. Then it funnels into the DMs, whether it's people reaching out to you or you reaching out to them. From the DMs, then it goes to the outside of LinkedIn. Then you leave the LinkedIn world and you go to Zoom or in person or wherever you want to go for your business. Yeah, that potentially leads to the customer. So LinkedIn, you can create a funnel out of LinkedIn itself if you have the right strategy.
And that's the thing I think people miss is that funnel process. You meant, views, lead the likes, lead the comments. Yeah. There's a funnel for that. And then people don't understand that. Like you can have 500,000 views of something, but if you get no comments, right, who cares? And if you get no comments, then you don't get the DM. So it's very much a process to follow. And that's where I had to learn, because I would look at these megaliths on LinkedIn like, oh, I want to have that many. I want to go viral. And when you think about it, viral means nothing if it doesn't convert. This is where Rhino Richards, a friend of mine, always says he doesn't care about his views. He's like, my views are down, but I'm having more messages go to people. Yeah. Randy Cooper, if you're still watching, he says the same thing. Like my views going down 20%, but I'm having more quality conversations. Yeah. So as people kind of get into this process, you mentioned taking it off LinkedIn. Is that the biggest step people miss? Is they don't take their LinkedIn content off of it to get to the sales funnel?
Yeah, I mean, they're just not intentional enough. They're just kind of going through the motions, putting out content, but not thinking about how am I going to get my audience to take action. So, it starts with the actual content, with the actual message. What is the purpose behind it? And then obviously, there's call to actions, whether that's in your actual post, whether that's in the video, whether it's in your comments. You have to take people somewhere, mention what you do, mention what you're trying to get out of it, and then take them down that path, and then obviously convert to hopefully, a message. A big thing that people miss too is like, if you've got the right strategy and you're getting likes and comments, we did this. For my boot camp, we do a live session once a week, and they're really impactful. And one of them we did, we were going through somebody's recent video, and we were kind of roasting it, having some fun with it, giving some positive, some constructive feedback. We had a great time. It was a really good video. And what we did is we went through the likes and the comments, and we said, okay, cool. These 3 or 4 people are your target audience. This could be a customer for you. Have you reached out to them? And he's like, no, I haven't. And it's like, boom, right there. So that's one thing right away, missing out on your likes and comments. If you're not going through them and video DMing people that have not reached out to you yet, but have liked or engaged on your content, you're missing a huge opportunity there. But that's where your content's got to be geared towards what you want to accomplish with your overall strategy on LinkedIn. Because if it doesn't match, people are going to be confused. Oh, wait, you're reaching out. You're an insurance guy. I just thought you were the rat, so right. That's where it's got to, I'm sure you probably got some content where it's insurance, some content where it's general, some, you've got to have your profile speaks to what you do. So you've got to make sure that you're credible in your space, but then it's okay to make general content too for everyone that draws a wider net and gets people in. But the niche content, I talked about this on Wednesday's video, how to create content when you're super niche, because people are like, but Alex, I sell nails for construction work. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, right. The profile, speak to a broader audience. But when those people that could buy from you get funneled in, you do have the niche content and the niche profile optimized to where people understand what you do and they take action.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because you see a lot of times, I think we're going through this phase with LinkedIn. A lot of the people doing self-help videos, like, this is the struggle I went through. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it seems like there's a lot of that. Of the general, I'm awesome, this is how I got here, or I had a struggle, this is how I got here. And I think that's for the vanity metric sometimes, but you just identified if somebody that's your target customer likes it, you need to have a process for like, okay, this is a general video, right, but you're my customer. Yes. So let me say something to you versus the niche video, oh, if you're there, you're definitely my customer. So I'm going right into it.
Yeah. And I talked about, look, your niche content, if you're super niche, like for me, my niche is like pretty general. It's LinkedIn, right? I could talk about my niche every day and it would make sense to everyone, including the people that I'm trying to target. But for some people where it's maybe insurance or something else, your niche content probably isn't going to go viral. And that's fine. And that's fine. Okay. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be there so that you show that you're credible and you can help people when they need to do that. So if they're checking you out, they say, oh, wow, this Daryl guy, yeah, he's super entertaining, great show. He's a rapper, but he also, like, I see that he does do some serious insurance stuff and really helps people change their lives. Very cool, right? That's the name of the game. You've got to have both.
Yeah. So niche and general, and it's good because you have two different nets. I guess the general is more of the net, and the niche is more of the spear. It's like going right for that certain thing.
Yeah.
And Doug had a comment on there. The content creation phase to target your audience can be challenging. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Bring value first.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven said intentionality, so simply, yet so many don't do it. Yes, there's very unintentional content all the time. I see it constantly.
Yes.
Leilanda, thanks for jumping in. She said, Ronald Richards' response to my connection request via video is definitely memorable. So there you go. Somebody else got a Ronald Richards video. So Ronald, if you're watching, people have seen your videos. And see, they haven't even done business together yet. Lana, let me know if you haven't done business together yet. But the fact that he sent that video, you'll remember if you need a coach, like a sales coach. He's the only sales coach that sent me a direct video with my name, and it wasn't like copied and pasted or mass produced. Now it does take time. So for you doing your video, let's talk about process. You're doing video messages. How much time do you think you spend if you're doing an 8-hour day, which I know is kind of hard to say because working from home, but if you're doing an 8-hour day, how much time do you think you're spending on video messages versus engaging your comments and stuff like that?
There's more time engaging and comments and stuff, but you know, I would say there's people coming into me. There's two ways that I would do it. One, there's people that have messaged me from my content saying, hey, Alex, I saw one of your videos. I want to learn more about what you do. I'm curious about some things. I'm curious about the boot camp, whatever it is. That's perfect. That's obviously the warmest lead possible. Then I'll send a video DM back if I can, unless I'm not in an area where I can't. But if I can, I'll send a video DM back to that. And then secondly, I'll reach out to anyone that's liked or commented on my videos if I feel like they could be a target customer for me, potential customer, and I'll video DM them, thank them for liking the video, and then offer up something of value. I'd say typically that's most of the video DMs, not all, but most of them are either one of those two. I would say probably I spend, 15 minutes a day. Not a ton, not a ton of time. Yeah, you don't need to spend, hours and hours, but those are so much more impactful and more, you get such a higher response rate from that versus picking up the phone and doing a cold call, with no clue who you are.
Thank you for saying that, because sometimes in my field, people think, Daryl, you're on LinkedIn all day. I'm like, no, it just looks like that. You can steal moments like if my daughter's running around or something, I could just like something real quick. Yeah. Or I go in the car to do something, I can message somebody real quick. Like it's little micro moments throughout the day, but they're like, you're on there all day. Like, no, it's just, if I get 5 minutes, I'm gonna do something real quick because it's better than me making a cold call. Yeah. And that's where I think the change of guard is happening, because I'm not a huge advocate of the numbers game thing. I know there's numbers to sales, but when I hear that, I cringe, because they're just saying just plow through numbers, plow through people, and hope and pray, versus you're basically in the same side as me with the quality, just like focus on this person and have an intentional message, have a direct message that speaks to them. And I feel better about messaging that way versus when I used to cold call people. I mean, that would work, but you would feel like depleted, because that whole day you're getting no, and you get one yes. Versus this methodology, you could send 10 video messages and maybe 2 of them lead to a sale, or they lead to at least a conversation. Yes, that's probably a better feeling as a salesperson if they had to choose: do I spend time on the phone all day, or do I spend some time curating messages and content? Yes, and the other thing when it comes to content is, one, it's cool because you get to inspire at scale, right? You get to inspire a lot of people over time. If you continuously create content, you get to really make a difference in people's lives. I'm not always just talking about what I do. Sometimes it's just like, I just want to freaking wake people up, man, and get them to realize how fucking awesome they are and what they can do with the one life that they get on planet Earth. So it's really, for me, it's cool to make an impact. But 2, you're building trust and credibility at scale, which means with your content over time, doesn't happen day 1, day 2, day 3, but over time, so that people end up coming to you. That's the whole goal eventually with the content. So you don't always have to reach out to people and knock on doors or pick up phones and say, hey, you want to meet with me? You want to give me 30 seconds? You build this system with, over time, people start to know you, and you start to get engagements like this, and you get exposed to different audiences, and people want you to come talk. And this is all a result of content. Like, I can't explain to people how freaking powerful it is. I don't care what you do. It's changed my life. And it's only been 8 months of doing it. And it's like, it's just changed my entire life. And obviously business, but personally too, like it exposed me to so many cool people. I mean, I can list off 100 people I've met on LinkedIn that I feel close with,
that I could travel the world and have a freaking couch to sleep on no matter where I went in the world. And I'm sure you probably feel the same way.
That's the relationships have been interesting because there's people I intentionally like. I'll shout out Nick Nelson. I wanted to know Nick Nelson. Like, this dude's making good content. I want to meet him. So now I can like text him. Yeah, I can call him and we just chop it up. Ronnell is another dude like that. Like, I want to know Ronnell. Shanae Murray and Courtney Herring. I want to know them. And this has made me able to do that versus if I was just calling them out the phone book or something, that would never happen.
Never.
And that's the difference, I think, with this is that when people kind of say like, they're watching you do these things and watching you online, they don't understand the fact that there's more to it than just making content. Like, it is, you get to learn from other people,
it's amazing,
gather their experience, and it's just stuff you never could do before. Yeah. And as I think about it, when some people I work with, they'll say like, why does so-and-so ask for you instead of me? I know them. But I'm like, because I'm making content, they see me all the time. That happens. They'll say, I'll send a screenshot of somebody asked me for like, hey, I need Aflac or something, or hey, I need insurance. And I was like, oh, this is your person. They asked me for something. Why'd they ask you? I talked to them about blah, blah, blah a few months ago. Like, well, because they see me on here every day.
That's the punchline. That's the whole punchline right there, man. It's like, and you're technically niche, right? Like, you can't, I mean, obviously what you sell, you could sell it to probably almost everyone, but it's not like you're talking about marketing or sales or something like that. It's insurance. Right. People think like, oh, and people in finance, a lot of my clients are finance. They think the same thing before they start working with me, where it's like, how do I talk about this? People don't care. They don't want to hear about it. It's like, well, you don't always talk about that, but you become a celebrity in your space, and then people know your name, and that's proof of it right there, man.
Yeah, they talk when they're ready to. That's the way I look at it. I've done the cold calling for probably about two years. When I first started my business, for about two and a half years, it was all cold calling. Then I started working referrals. Like, oh, this referral thing's kind of cool. I don't have to call as many people. But then at a certain point, I said, I don't want to have to make calls all the time. I just don't want to. I know how to do it masterfully, but I don't want to have to do it. If I can just say, I know what I'm doing, just come to me. I know what I'm doing, just come to me. Like, I don't need to prove to you with some slit script. I can get past your gatekeeper and talk to you. I know what I'm doing. Like, come on and talk to me. And Doug had a comment too. He said, personal video messages can save time and more efficient than calling and email. So Doug's a believer of that too. Yep. And Miss Simone, she put out there, so true, a special message connects much better, making an impact on a higher level. Totally. Yeah, even if you don't do business, I mean, it's just funny to me how many people are like, how do you play this? I mean, like you said, you teach them something in the moment of the content. So
never forget it, dude.
That's your value left right there. If you just teach somebody, there's 1% of people who make content on LinkedIn. So I don't even know the stats. What are the stats for video messages? Do you know a stat for how many people use that?
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, just from if you just look at your own, if we just gathered up 10 people and say, hey, how many video messages do you get versus text? I guarantee it's 99 text to 1 video. Yeah,
put some comments for that guy. Let us know how many video messages you get or send. Throw it in the comments so we can kind of see. Because I get probably 1 a week. Doug, you're my 1 a week, I think, right now.
So it's always Doug too.
It's like 1 or 2 I get a week. I get audio messages now. Some people like Bonnie Sussman. Bonnie is good at audio messages. Shara Jones.
It's cool though when I send video DMs, it inspires other people to send a video. So most of the videos I get are people sending back like, "Yo, dude, that was cool. I'm gonna send a video DM now." So it's cool. So you're actually impacting people. Yes, you're teaching them something, and you're inspiring them to think outside the box. And I'm just a big believer in one little micro change, one little micro moment can lead to a macro gain. So it could have been that one little light bulb that went off in someone's head. They're like, man, video DM. You know what? I need to start doing more stuff to get myself out of my comfort zone. Oh, maybe I should start doing this. And that could lead to a whole other, the chain of events in someone's life. Like, that's why I just believe, man, don't take those little impacts for granted because they can do big things.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, because even when I think about it, people complain about leaving voicemails with people, sending emails not getting answered. You're going to get at least it's read. I mean, if you send a video message, at least they're going to see it. You don't know if the email's going to get seen.
Yes.
Voicemails, I have so many people I call their voicemails full. I don't even check voicemail anymore. Yeah. So you just know you have a very high open rate for if you send a video, they're going to at least see it.
100%.
So I would definitely double down on that with people. Like, if it's your client and it's something you can make happen and you have a benefit to them, don't just video message them like, hey, I can sell you something. Video message something impactful. Like, I checked out your profile, saw what you're doing. I'd love to have a coffee with you if you're doing coffee, or I'd love to do a Zoom to talk about what you're doing. Yep. And a couple, so here we go. So Ryan said, I think I've gotten 2 video messages so far. Alex is one of them. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, I knew I talked to Ryan. Yeah.
Simone said maybe 2. And Cassandra said video DM was on my list of to-dos after seeing it. So far, I've received 1 or 2 most. So that's 3 people, and I'm sure we're gonna get some more comments here and there, but 3 people have gotten 2 messages tops.
Yeah, it's probably 1% people get video DMs. It's
It's probably lower than that. It's probably 0.1%.
Probably.
So think about if you're tired of getting spam text messages and all that, and spam, links, and don't send PDFs to people, don't send your YouTube video, then don't do that. I can't stand that stuff. I'm like, I don't know you. I'm not going to watch your YouTube video. Keep them on LinkedIn. That you and I talked about that. The friction for using a website, you take them off LinkedIn. So talk about why it's better to keep them on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're taking, first of all, if you're trying to, I mean, first of all, with your content, don't post anything. I think a lot of people know this, but don't post external links or YouTube videos onto your LinkedIn on the actual post. Because if you take somebody off from your content, LinkedIn's going to downgrade that post because they don't want people to leave LinkedIn. So they're not going to show it to more people. They're going to downgrade that. So post native content, meaning just directly to LinkedIn. So if you got a 20-minute YouTube video, take a snippet of 60 seconds and post that directly to LinkedIn. And if you want to drop the comments for the whole video or drop the link for the whole video, do it in the comments so you're not going to get downgraded. When it comes to video DMs, yeah, I mean, especially if you're just getting to know somebody and you're just connected with them or you've never engaged with them before, you're asking them to take multiple steps and they don't even know who the heck you are. Yep. So why do that? It's just kind of rude in my opinion. It's like, dude, don't make me come off LinkedIn and go some PDF or some YouTube. Like, just say what you got to say, deliver the message. And then if it makes sense to engage further, I'm just all about not making more steps for people. Why make it harder for people?
There you go. Mic drop right there. Make it simple. Keep them on the platform. And Lana said only got 1 so far. It's only 1. So it's definitely, this is one of those things. This live, I want people to take action with it because this is a very actionable thing. We can talk about video messages all day and you're like, that's cool, not do anything. Send one. Just send one person a video message. The good thing about this platform lets you do that. Not a lot of platforms let you send video messages.
And really quick, can I say this just in case? Because I know there are some people that are like, how do you actually send a video DM?
Yeah, go for it.
And I mean that in all seriousness. Some people just really don't know technically how to do it. All you do is when you're inside a message, you see at the bottom how it has that rectangle box that says write a message. To the right side, there's that microphone button. That's where you can hit audio. You can press that down and you can send an audio message. Those are good too. On the left side, there's a plus button. If you hit the plus button, it gives you 8 options. One of them is video. Click video, and then simply hit the selfie button, and boom, you can send a selfie DM.
And that's the key thing about this, guys. It's done on the phone. It's not done on the computer. You can do it on the computer if you edit it and all that, but the quick and easy, messy way to do it is just open your app on your phone.
Yep.
And then Cassandra had a question. Said, do you think the video DM will be another overused tactic soon? I hate the jump on bandwagon stuff that eventually gets overwhelming. So I'll let you share your thoughts and I'll jump in.
I mean, I think everything is going to get overused at some point. The question is, Cassandra, like it's probably 2 to 3 to 4 years out before it gets overused, So you've got this massive window and then there'll be something else. Maybe it's some kind of virtual reality type of thing or like, who knows? But it's about acting on the thing that's relevant now. The thing that shows that you're innovative now. And it's not going to, we could do, I talk about video DMs all day and all night and still less than 1% use them. So it's going to take a long time for people to really start implementing this. You've got plenty of time.
I think it's also something that it's an uncomfortable thing. So I don't think it's ever going to be saturated personally because you got to put yourself into it. I mean, you can write copy and not ever see your face and be like, I'm not comfortable with the camera, so I'll never do video. And let's look at it. There's 1% of users make content on LinkedIn. Content could just be text. They're not saying 1% of users make video. They're saying 1% of users post their own content on LinkedIn in a 30-day period. 1%. This has been out for, I've been on LinkedIn for 10 years. And it's still been that way. So even if video messaging becomes popular, you're going to be, 2% where they use it?
It's still going to be effective regardless of, if you do it the right way, it's still effective regardless if everyone was doing it. It's still better. True. So.
And she said, wow, 2 to 4 years, I'm on it then. So you got it converted her. So
like at minimum, I'm saying if it exploded like 2 to 4 years, like it to your point, Daryl, it's probably never going to be that saturated, but you've at minimum got a few years to where people start just jumping on this bandwagon, in my opinion.
Yeah, so take advantage of it and capitalize on it right there. Just send you one. Oh, and then here we go. Cassandra said, I'll make you proud, Alex. I'll be sending you one first.
Love it.
There you go. That's how you get started. Send it to the pro.
That's right. Just send, hey, if you're nervous about it, send it to me or Daryl. Well,
Yeah, I've had people do that. They're like, hey, how does this look?
Yeah, I don't care how you send it. I don't care what it looks like. I'm happy that you're getting yourself out of your comfort zone,
I've had more people that want to send an audio message like, oh, I'm sending you one back. Was it okay? Yeah, you did it. My one tip I give people for the audio message: make sure you don't check that box that says "Don't show me this again." When you send an audio message, there's an automatic send, so you can record it, and then if you mess up, it's just sending it. So if you reset your LinkedIn app when you send your audio messages, don't check that box, because forever it would just send it without you getting to think, did I mess up? Did my dog bark? Did my daughter jump in the audio? Like
that happens. That happens.
Yeah, don't check that box. Well, Alex, this has been good. This is tactical, so everybody can walk away from this. Everybody that can hear us, see us, consume the content, send a video message. Just try it. It will make a difference in your business, and you can make some great relationships. I'm happy that a lot of the people I've met through this platform, I could legit call and just have a conversation. And if we were not physically distancing, go have a beer or something like that. That's very possible. So don't sleep on this platform. A little different than Instagram or Facebook. That people actually know each other here and try to make relationships, and they do business together. So it's a good place to marry the three together. And last thing, Doug, Donovan said, Alex is awesome. So thanks, Donovan, with the post meridian.
Thanks, brother.
And Doug said, just keep a social video, personalize it, bring value, and connect. That's a great way to end this, Doug. Might drop it right there.
Yeah.
So, Alex, if people want to learn more about your business, where should they go?
Just hit me up on LinkedIn. Send me a video DM. If you don't send me a video, I'm not going to respond. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, just send me a video DM. I make myself available. I'll get back to you guys for sure.
Perfect. And follow him. He has great content. That's why I caught his attention seeing his content on the feed. So thank you, folks. Make sure you still stay safe, still physically distance, still wear a mask, wash your hands, all that jazz. Video is going to be a thing because we can't see each other in person. So you might as well embrace video while you can't be in person. But thanks, folks. Make sure you tag someone. If you know someone that needs help with video marketing, tag them so they can watch this and get a hold of Alex. Or if they just don't know how to use a video DM, tag them for this as well. But we will catch you guys next time.